flow state is something divine, something magical. It's magic in our words because it allows you to experience true happiness and allows you to experience fulfillment in your life. It is a state where you feel utterly and fully immersed into the task that you're doing. And today, I want to share with you how I trigger the flow state. There are some weird tips there, but I hope it helps you. And these 5 techniques are quite simple and something that you can implement into your own life. Tip number 1, trigger on. This tip might sound quite cringe, quite weird, but legit, all you have to do is make up a catchphrase. What I say is trigger on. And then when I want to exit out of the flow state, I say trigger off. This might sound quite cringe, quite weird, quite awkward to do, but if it works, right? Try it out. It's not that hard. Just say trigger on. And like before you do a task and you want to like access your flow state, just say trigger on or make up a cool catchphrase. And if I were to give you an example, it's like your energy is a bathtub and there's a little hole at the bottom of the bathtub where water leaks out because water is your energy. The water leaks out. And when you say trigger on, it's like you're pulling the plug on that bathtub. And it's granting you more energy, more focus, more alertness into your life. And it's something magical, something divine, something that gods have granted us the ability to do. To access the state where we are fully focused, where we are fully immersed into the task at hand. And so you can try this for yourself. Try saying trigger on and remember to say trigger off because it's like you plugging up that bathtub. Really remember to say trigger off because you don't want your energy to be drained. And if it works, I mean, right? Even though it might be quite cringe to do so. So yeah. The second tip is do a cool action. So doing a cool action before you start to work is something that can help you achieve and enter your flow state. It's like when you want to enter your flow state, maybe like unzip your jacket or something and like do something cool, do an action that's cool, maybe break something. Because if you do this correctly, you can associate that action, that cool action, something that you find cool to do with entering the flow state. And that means that you connect something cool, doing something cool with the flow state. You're just connecting those things together. And so whenever you do that action, you know it's time to enter the flow state. You know it's time to focus. You know it's time to conquer that task that you are going to be working on. And I guess scientifically, what this means is you're making this trigger, you're making this cue, and your brain is going to associate that cue with you entering the flow state. So try it yourself. Try and make up and do something cool when you want to enter the flow state. And then try to associate that every single time you want to enter the flow state. And every single time that you want to do work in a flow state, do that action before and see how effective it can be. I know like the first step, it might be a little bit cringe, but if it works, it works. This cool action, if I were to describe it, if I would give you a better example, it would be something related to video games. It's like in a video game, when you activate like a special move, your character wants to activate a special move. What do? They do a special pose, they do a special like action. The action for the special move is like really cringe, but it works. It's like, Dragon Ball Z that do the Kamehameha. That's a cool action that Goku does before he releases his powerful technique. And it's like all the video games you play, all the anime that you watch, the characters do cool actions. They do cool things before they want to enter the flow state. So why not try copy them? I don't mean to do the Kamehameha before you do work, but do something else. Try to do something that's less cringe. That works. The third thing that I do to help me enter the flow state is meditation. Meditation is something that you've probably heard online and just think that it's a jinx, it's a hoax. It's something that's cringe to do. No one does meditation. It doesn't work. There's no benefits to it. While scientists can't even prove why the benefits of meditation even exist, they don't know the reason behind it, but they know that meditating provides a lot and I mean a lot of benefits to you, such as allow you to enter the flow state more easily. I've been meditating for 6 months now, and I find it so much more easier now to enter the flow state than it was 6 months before. And I feel like meditation was one of the big factors in order for me to do so. Because when you're meditating, you're calming your inner self down. And if I were to use the bathtub thing as an example again, it's like you're opening the shower head like that's in that bathtub area, and you're filling your bathtub with more water. And so essentially what you're doing is you're replenishing your energy, you're replenishing your mind, you're taking your mind a break, you're giving your mind a chance to focus. And when I meditate, it just feels like I'm gaining all my energy back. And it feels like all my fatigue, all my worries, all my stresses, all my anxious thoughts are dissipating. And if you really want to get into meditation, what I reckon you try to do is you go online and just search up 10-minute meditation. Even 1 minute. Maybe just do 1 minute, not even 10 minutes. Just do 1 minute of meditation today. And maybe just carry that on for a year or so and see what happens. And if you just keep on failing at meditation, keep a habit tracker. I have a habit tracker like there on my wall that I track how many days of the month that I've meditated for. And I try to aim to meditate 10 minutes every single day. Because I know, even though it can't be proven, that the benefits of meditation are so good for you. Meditation is like you're grasping the magical balls of magic around you. It's like, magic aura. You're consuming that aura into you. Kind of strange, but that analogy, it's like you're harnessing the energy surrounding you. But the other thing that you don't want to do, and I would not recommend you to do, is meditate for like 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, thinking that you can constantly fill your bathtub with more and more energy, with a lot more energy. Because you need to realize that your bathtub is going to get full eventually. Everyone's bathtub, everyone's energy amount is limited. There's a certain capacity to it. And it's like you can't fill it up more than your capacity. So you can't have more energy than your capacity limit. You can't have more energy than your limit. Of course, you can increase the size of that bathtub, just like how you can increase your energy capacity. But that's quite hard to do because you have to reconstruct that bathtub. / you have to reconstruct your brain in order to do so. So yeah, don't go meditating like crazy. And remember, consistency is king. Tip number 4. This one's a relatively simple one, but hard to do. Focus. When I want to enter this flow state, I know that I have to focus. And I have to focus on the task at hand. I just have to focus on that one task that I want to get done. And I do really find it when I'm actually really focused and really concentrated on the task at hand, that the flow state comes to me. The flow state triggers on so much easier. It just flows through. You might experience this before, but when you're doing an exam, it just feels like time just skips. That's because you're focused on that one thing at hand. You're not focused on what the time is, how long until the exam finishes. If you're utterly and fully focused on your task, time will skip. You feel like time just skipped, and you just feel like, wait, did I just skip time? But of course you didn't. You were just focused on that task completely. And that's why you were able to effortlessly just flow through the task, because you were able to focus. Focus is a superpower. It's a super skill. It's a skill that's really important. It doesn't only allow you to enter the flow state, but it just makes everything in life so much easier. Because amount of work done is focus times time spent. So if your focus goes up, then your time spent must go down. That's the other benefit of focusing. And focusing on just one task is actually really hard to do. So I encourage you to just train and level the skill up slowly and slowly and slowly. And eventually, one day, you'll master the art of focus. And I'm sure that one day, your focus will improve and you can just do any task that you want to do just like that. So, yeah, the 4th tip was focus. The 5th thing that I do is I built a ritual. So you know tip number 1 and tip number 2, where tip number 1 was I say trigger on, and where tip number 2 was I like unzip my jacket or do a cool action. Well, what this is doing, it's building a ritual for me. So every time I want to enter the flow state, when I was like, okay, it's time to enter the flow state, I'm like, trigger on, then unzip jacket. That's building a ritual. That's making a sequence of patterns that's leading up to the flow state. Why is this so important, you may ask? Well, entering the flow state isn't something that you do suddenly. It's something that you have to ease into. It's like an airplane, trying to land. It's not gonna suddenly crash and then it's like, oh, it's landed. It's like the airplane has to slow down its speed. It has to slow down and slowly eventually reach a stop. And it goes the same way, the opposite way around. When an airplane wants to take off, can't just take off straight away. It has to go on a really long runway. It has to go on one of those runways that airplanes go on. And it has to just pick up its speed slowly but surely. And so what you're doing when you're building a ritual is you're building up that speed, you're building up that momentum for you to take off, for you to trigger your flow state. That's how I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to build more of a consistent ritual whenever I want to enter my flow state. And by building a ritual, you're just warming up your engine. You're like getting warm for that set block of work that you want to do. You're like getting ready, you're warming it up. And by building a ritual, you'll increase your focus for that task. Your focus will greatly improve if you build up a ritual. Because every single time you do that ritual, your mind is going to associate doing that ritual with focusing. Because after you do that ritual, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to enter a flow state. You're supposed to flow into that task that you want to be doing. So what I reckon you try to do is try building a ritual of your own. Try building a ritual of your own. So like whenever you want to enter the flow state, do those actions, do those things before you do the work, if that sort of makes sense. And so yeah, those were 5 tips of how I trigger/enter the flow state. And if you watch this far and like the video, maybe you're like one of my other videos there, or there, or there. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see ya next time. Peace.